people here. Check is everybody. I know, they're right on time. Well, they are though. They're usually right on time.
You can sit down for a long winter's nap is all first.
Good workout.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the first in-person Solstice service since 2019. It is so good. It's so good to be together. You may not remember that we typically begin the service right now, right out of the gate with the offering, so as not to interrupt the flow of the rest of the service. So we will begin with speaking the words that we do every week. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this, our offering. The offering will be gratefully received. Oh, sorry. For all that you have sacrificed and shared, thank you. Thank you.
My name is Suzanne Wingrove Hoagland. Welcome to the All Souls Winter Solstice celebration. Isn't it a joy to gather together? Blessed be. In crafting this service, I wanted to blend three things: the transformative Christian church services of my youth, the powerful pagan rituals of my adulthood, and the UU principles of radical inclusion. My intention was to weave these ancient words and music together to create a holy trinity of a pagan, Christian, UU theater piece, song fest, and revival meeting, all rolled into one. In the house where I grew up, my parents' copy of the Time Life book series on evolution was on the bookshelf right next to my mother's King James Bible, and we kids read them both. And perhaps that's why when I read the story of creation in Genesis, I was struck by how the first creation story mimicked the principles of evolution. It started with a void, then something spoke or banged, then there was water, then dry land, then vegetation, then creatures in every shape and size. As those 7 days went on, life got so much more interesting. For me, those Bible stories and those science texts were two sides of the same coin, reflecting one another, telling the story from different angles. That is the sensibility that drives this service, which is in three parts: birth, death, and rebirth. For birth, I gathered together our oldest creation myths from different cultures, texts from the ancient Sumerians, the Quran, indigenous Americans' people's myths, Lao Tzu, ancient Greeks, and the Old and New Testaments, just to keep it interesting. These are some of the oldest creation stories ever told. I was fascinated by how those words from many different geographic locations and separated by so many years, nevertheless expressed similar themes, and the words even echoed one another. The interplay of the above and below, between light and darkness, gods, goddesses speaking the world into existence, these all intrigued me. So I took these words from different sources, cut them up, and rewove them into a Unitarian Universalist tapestry. We begin by calling the 4 quarters or directions, which is also known as casting a circle. This tradition goes back far into human history. A circle creates a sacred space of protection and intention. In this version, you will notice the story of evolution in the words of the quarter calls and those reflected in the words of the scriptures. We also honor the transformative storytelling of our ancestors with the tale of Persephone and Demeter, literally one of the oldest stories recorded in ancient writings. Versions of this story vary among different cultures, hence the 3 different alternative choices listed in the script of how Persephone is taken to the underworld. The names change, the plot devices change, but the ultimate resolution is the same in the story and in our ceremony: transformation. And tonight, it is once again our unique thrill to dance this ritual through Unity Hall. To our fellow travelers on Zoom, welcome to you all, and I want to give a shout out to one special Zoomer out there, my mother, who is joining us from 3,000 miles away in Port Townsend, Washington. You got an applause line, Mom. That's awesome. And so, on this longest night of the year, we begin, as always, with a prayer from Reverend Carolyn.
Welcome to Suzanne's mom. And let's turn and wave to all of the folks in the online pews. Welcome all. Peace be with you. We're so glad you're here. And peace be with you all here in Unity Hall as we gather. Let us prepare our minds and our hearts and begin in a communion of prayer. O holy night, this, a night of velvety darkness, and through the quiet, a song to pierce through the on the verge of tears days. Tonight, tears will surely come, but now their source changed. Hearts pierced by beauty, the colors of the season on display, twinkly lights, candle glow, peace cranes above, gently swaying like a promise. Songs we hold close in our hearts now burst forth with strong voices rising up. We join the chorus. Though our souls are set in darkness, we will rise in perfect light. We have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. We embrace the darkness as we celebrate the longest night. May tonight be for us the moment we reckon with the fear of our days. For tonight we drink the elixir of beauty, truth, and love, and feel its warmth melt our icy edges. Let's nestle into this darkness, trusting that the morning star will greet us once again. May we find the strength enough to surrender to beauty's power, surrender so that our hearts may break open and feel the rush of love that will not let us go. On this blessed night, voices rise up in celebration. Merry meet, welcome Yule. And on this first night of the Jewish Festival of Lights, Hag Hanukkah Sameach, and evermore. Peace, salam, shalom. Blessed be, and amen. Amen, amen. And let the solstice cycle begin.
In the beginning, there were only two, the sun god and the earth goddess.
These two had one thought, and it was a mighty thought, that they would make the earth between the above and the below, where now lay shimmering only the endless waters.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep.
When there was no heaven, no earth, no height, no depth, no name. When there were no gods.
In the beginning,
When there were no heaven, there was no earth.
God created the heavens and the earth.
No height, no depth, no name.
The earth was formless and void.
The gods were nameless, natureless, futureless.
Darkness was over the face of the deep.
When sweet and bitter mingled together.
No reed was plaited, no rushes muddied the water.
And the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters.
In the waters, gods were created in the waters.
Where now lay shimmering only the endless waters.
Look, it cannot be seen. It is beyond form. Listen, it cannot be heard. It is beyond sound. Grasp, it cannot be held. It is intangible. These three are indefinable. They are one.
And then it came about that these two had one thought, and it was a mighty thought.
And God said,
God said to him, be.
and God said, let there be.
God said to him, be, and he is.
God said, let there be light. And there was light.
The name that can be named is not the eternal name.
The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things.
These two spring from the same source, but differ in name. This appears as darkness, darkness within darkness, the gate to all mystery.
We have always sought out the gateways of mystery, the gateways to darkness and to light, the gateways to the next step in what we can do, be, and understand.
This solstice time, this moment of cleaving darkness and light, is the moment where we turn to honor and reflect the passing of the darkness and look forward together toward the coming of the light.
Those here in Unity Hall, I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit so that we may turn and honor the corners, the directions which map the journey of where we have been before and light the way toward where we are going. And so we turn first to the east. And to the east we say,
welcome, spirits of the east, spirits of air.
The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the earth.
Once we moved across the face of nothingness. We were as the air. We moved and lived and had no being. You filled our lungs and gave us breath. Welcome, east and air. We honor you because we come from you.
welcome, east and air. We turn to the south and say,
Welcome, spirits of the south, spirit of fire.
They had one thought, and it was a mighty thought.
You, south, brought the fire. You sparked the first thought that burst us into life. When the fire of our consciousness first said, I am, you lit our whole world on fire. Welcome, south and fire. We honor you because we come from you.
Welcome, south and fire. We turn to the west and we say,
Welcome, spirits of the west, spirit of water.
in the waters, gods were created in the waters.
To the west whirl the waters we were born in. Our senses first tasted life on earth in the ocean, bathed and growing for eons in our watery womb. Welcome, west and water. We honor you because we come from you.
Welcome, west and water. We turn to the north and we say,
Welcome, spirits of the north, spirit of earth.
Let the dry ground appear.
To the north lies solid earth, where we pulled ourselves up from Mother Ocean to Mother Earth. From you, we grew food, reached out in community, and walked farther into our possibilities. Welcome, North and Earth. We honor you because we come from you.
welcome, north and earth, which brings us to the final direction, center, right here.
Form of the formless, image of the imageless.
Center is the direction of spirit, where above meets below. Our four directions signal where we have been, what we have been. Center is where we are right now. Center leads us where we are going. Welcome, center and spirit.
Welcome, center and spirit.
Stand before it. There is no beginning. Follow it, and there is no end.
You may be seated. The moment we become aware of the light was the exact moment we became aware of the darkness.
Thus was the end contained in the very beginning.
After the beginning, after language babbled down from the tower, after the flood.
At dawn, as we pulled ourselves up from the ground to gauge the horizon,
We turned to one another and spoke our words.
We told stories, many stories.
We spoke each other to sleep each night, dawning light into our darkness.
This is one of our stories of the journey between darkness and light.
This is one of the oldest stories we have ever told each other.
With every telling, the light pierces a little deeper into our darkness.
With each telling, the light we have to see by grows brighter.
Once so long ago that no one can ever remember when, a young girl named Persephone was walking in a flowering meadow on a beautiful day. She was the daughter of the grain goddess called Demeter.
The air was warm. The sun shone upon Persephone. She paused at a pond and looked at her reflection, staring back at her from the water.
What happens next is a mystery.
Some say she reached out for a narcissus flower, a most tantalizing blossom, and fell.
Some say she heard the voice of her grandmother, Hecate, calling to her from deep in the earth, and curiously stepped forward.
Some say Hades, the king of the underworld, came in his chariot and snatched her away.
What we do know is this:
She stumbled and fell.
Or curiously stepped forward.
or was ruthlessly stolen. What we do know is this: she disappeared,
Vanished.
Completely.
and no one could find her.
And then her mother, Demeter, came looking for her.
To ye fine and glorious gods, whose beams upon mere mortals fall, tell me of Persephone. Have you seen her anywhere?
This we know. She tripped and fell.
Or curiously stepped into the dark.
Or ruthlessly was borne away.
Where upon this fruited earth, or upper air, or windy sea, will I find my only child whose fire breathes all life in me.
There is naught can find your child, none but you can bring her home. If you search in every place, you will find what you most own.
Where to find this lurking place where a child cannot be found? Whither, lords, to lead me there? Whither, lords, do I begin? There's no place that can hide the child who from my body born and bred. There's no stone left unturned. I will follow where she led.
She looked in the east, but found no Persephone in the clouds and winds of the air. As Demeter turned away from the east in sorrow, the air grew cold and the winds ceased.
She looked to the south, but found no Persephone in the fire and warmth of the southern sky. As Demeter turned from the south in sorrow, the sun grew cold and distant.
She looked to the west, but found no Persephone bathing in the western waters. As Demeter turned from the west in sorrow, the water grew cold and froze, falling hard against the earth.
She looked to the north, to the earth, where always before her daughter had been found. But she found no Persephone resting in the fields or dancing through the meadows. As Demeter turned from the north in sorrow, every grain and fruit and plant began to wither, to sicken, and to die.
Which left her only one direction to search: center, direction of spirit.
Deep into the heart of herself, deep into the darkest pit of her own grief, deep into the cave of creation, Demeter withdrew. And without her, all life upon the earth began to die.
A great voice is heard in Ramah, mourning and great weeping. It is Rachel weeping for her children, and will not be comforted because they are no more.
And darkness came once again over the face of the earth.
Deep into the heart of herself, deep into the darkest pit of her own grief, deep into the cave of creation, Demeter withdrew. Oh, I'm sorry. Having exhausted every direction, Demeter finally arrived at the still, quiet center of it all.
Persephone, who none may name, by secret scheming has been thrown. No direction holds her place. No direction leads her home.
And a still, small voice in the heart of herself replied,
Your daughter dwells in underworld.
Bring her back to me, my lord.
Seek not the living in the dead.
She cannot die, whose life's reborn.
Seek not outside what lies within.
Even in death there's living still. Though underworld she dwells in light, the light she carried into dark will lead her out now, blazing bright.
The light in you must find the way. Another's light will only balk. The path you must travel on, the path alone you must walk.
Though in death I'm living still, though deep in doubt, I dwell in light. The light I carried into dark will lead me out now, blazing bright. Though my soul is set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night, fearful of the night. Though my soul is set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night, fearful of the night. Though my soul may set in darkness, it will rise in perfect light. I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night, fearful of the night.
Deep in the heart of the world, where earth meets no earth, Persephone heard her mother's queenly words. She cried out to her mother, and her beloved mother heard her.
Persephone, you returned from the darkness.
In the darkness, I turn to my own light
You will stay with me now.
until I must return.
Why must you return to the fear?
In that darkness, the fear I found was the fear I carried with me. In darkness, I was able to see the greatest light.
How can you leave me?
I do not leave you. Wherever you look, you will find me.
Now the light and life will return to the earth?
Yes,
Now the flowers and grains will grow.
yes, grow again each spring and die again each winter in a beautiful circle, life everlasting, world without end.
Persephone, you have changed.
Mother, I entered the underworld a frightened child. Now I am its queen.
I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit.
Solstice doesn't happen in the sky or in a church. Solstice happens in our own hearts.
Every story we tell of light piercing darkness.
A child born in a manger into poverty in a conquered country.
Of lamps miraculously lit for 9 days.
Of the solstice, the place where the great wheel of life turns once more towards the sun.
We are celebrating the beautiful light we carry in ourselves, where we find the light we have to see by and draw light forth to illuminate our own path and that of those around us.
We now release the corners, the map and pathways of our journey of life.
From the east, from the void and formless we came from, we thank and release you.
We thank and release you.
From the west, from the water we were born in, we thank and release you.
We thank and release you.
From the south, from the spark of intention that brought us to light, we thank and release you.
We thank and release you.
From the Mother Earth, who cushioned our feet upon her body as we returned from the sea, we thank and release you.
We thank and release you.
Which brings us to center, the final corner, the one we call from within ourselves.
And we walk forward boldly into center and spirit. We call out this light of spirit to ourselves and our world and pass that light on, each to the other.
We thank and honor those, the 5 directions that map the pathway of our journey of life, from darkness to light, from formlessness to form and back again, from air to earth to spirit, world everlasting, world without end.
Somewhere inside of winter there's a rush of golden light streaming all around you, and yet within you in your wildest waking dream, silence tells you secretly everything,
I invite you all to be seated. There is a string, oh, I'm gonna choke, I'm so sad. Sorry, so anticlimactic, that beautiful ending, and I'm choking. I'm sorry. Every year we must always begin by thanking Suzanne Wingrove Hoagland. For every year continually tweaking the script, casting everyone. Here you see on the chancel her patience with all the tech that we have to take care of. You are an angel of the chaos that is the solstice cycle. Thank you, Suzanne. Your mother should be very proud. Thank you, Suzanne. I, of course, want to thank everyone who participated, everyone on the chancel. Lorelei and Platt and Emmy and Allison and David and Tracy. Thank you all so much. A fun little fact, the very first time we did this, and we think it was 13 years ago, the very first time Emmy played Persephone. So we've come, she keeps returning, I know, and plays it so beautiful. We, of course, want to thank the choir and Catherine. Thank you so much. So beautiful. They're rehearsing 2 pieces for Christmas Eve, so this is a full time of year, and we appreciate your dedication and your help. We're always so happy to see Che Cartafalsa here with us. Good to see you, Che, always. And we're always so fortunate to have Bill here. Bill, thank you so much. We have so much musical talent within this congregation. Becky, Noreen, so happy to see you here playing. And Nancy, thank you so much for singing that solo, just so beautifully, just gorgeous. As ever, Jesse back there handling all and everything. And I also want to hold up Tammy Barber, our spectacular office administrator who does so much beyond the typical job description of an office administrator. Every gorgeous image you see on these slides, she pulls together and without being asked, just said, I feel like I should build these suns for the Solstice Service. And so Tammy imagined and then built these beautiful suns. Do a little demonstration of flipping them to the seasons. They're just gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. So Tammy, if you're in the online pews, thank you so, so much. It really lifted up this experience this afternoon, so thank you. Thank you for that. And then I have just a couple of things for you to know. This Wednesday night, All Souls is hosting the memorial for all of those who died as a result of being unhoused this past year. This happens every year on the 21st of December on the longest night. We will be here beginning in the Peace Garden at 6:15, and then the service will move here into Unity Hall. It would be lovely to see a good turnout from the congregation. And then Christmas Eve, we will gather again. That's a Saturday night. There is one service at 6 o'clock. Again, we're asking for masks to be worn. Unfortunately, you all know the infection rates have risen so high. So we thank you for your patience and flexibility with that. There will not be a service on Christmas Day. And then on New Year's Day, there will be a service at 4:30 in the evening. It will be a musicale that Catherine and Bill are organizing. The choir will sing. It's going to be a lovely night. We'll light a chalice, we'll enjoy some music, and then we will have coffee hour. So look at your weekly news to be reminded of all of those things. And also, very important, the discretionary fund, that is the Good Neighbor offering for December, and that offering is taken up on Christmas Eve. So thank you for your generosity there. We have some special treats for coffee hour tonight. I hope you'll stay. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for making this night happen.